The marble lobby of the Alexandria sparkled as my sister Caroline twirled her new keycard, her designer heels clicking against the floor that would soon be under new management. "Can you believe Dad left me the penthouse?" She smirked, adjusting her Hermès scarf. "I mean, obviously he would, but still." I checked my watch, and my phone's countdown timer. "Obviously," I echoed, thinking of the document sitting in my inbox. "Transfer of building ownership complete." "Don't worry," Caroline patted my arm condescendingly. "Your office job probably pays enough for one of the lower floor units. Eventually." If she only knew that my tiny office job was running one of the city's largest real estate investment firms under a different name. "The view is simply incredible," she continued, pressing the penthouse button. "You should see how the city looks from the top." "Oh wait." She laughed. "You can't. Penthouse access only." My phone buzzed. "System update initiating. All keycards recoding in 3, 2, 1. The elevator lights flickered. Caroline's keycard beeped red. "What the?" She swiped again. "Nothing. Must be a glitch. I'll have maintenance fix it." "About that," I smiled, pulling out my own keycard, sleek black with owner embossed in silver. "Maintenance reports to me now." "You. But." Her perfectly lined eyes widened as understanding dawned. "No. Yes." I swiped my card. The elevator purred to life. "While you were bragging about inheriting the penthouse, I was buying the entire building." "That's impossible. This is one of the most expensive properties in the city." "Was one of the most expensive," I corrected, "before I acquired it through my investment firm. The same firm you mocked as my cute little office job last Christmas." The lobby screens flickered to life with a new message. "Welcome to Alexandria Towers under new ownership of Sterling Investments." "Sterling?" Caroline's voice cracked. "That's you. The very same company that's been buying half the city's premium real estate. The one Dad always wished he could partner with." I stepped into the elevator. Funny how he never knew his younger daughter was the CEO. But the penthouse is mine." "Dad's will." "Dad's will left you an apartment," I interrupted. "My building, my rules. And speaking of rules." I checked my phone. "Your rent's due next week. With the new market adjustment, of course." Caroline's face went pale. "Market adjustment. 30% increase. Standard for luxury properties in this area." I smiled sweetly. "Unless you'd prefer to explore our more affordable units on the lower floors?" The elevator doors began to close on her shocked expression. "Oh, and Caroline?" I called out. "The maintenance team starts at 7 a.m. Try not to sleep in. They'll need access to inspect all units." "Owner's orders." As the elevator carried me to my new office, the entire floor above the penthouse, I watched through security cameras as Caroline frantically called Dad. But he couldn't help her now. The security feed showed Caroline pacing the lobby, her perfect composure cracking as she made call after call. Dad's voicemail. Mom's busy signal. Her lawyer's apologetic explanation that yes, the building sale was completely legal. My phone buzzed with a message from my executive team. "Phase 2 ready. Renovations scheduled." Perfect timing. The lobby speakers crackled. "Attention residents. Please join us for a mandatory meeting regarding upcoming building changes. Attendance required to maintain tenancy." Caroline's head snapped up just as I stepped out of the elevator, now wearing my CO blazer instead of the little sister cardigan she was used to mocking. "You can't do this," she hissed. "This building is an institution." "An institution that just got a new owner," I replied, watching other residents filter into the lobby. "And a much-needed update." The presentation screen descended, displaying Sterling Investments' portfolio, billions in prime real estate, all acquired while my family thought I was working some entry-level office job. "Ladies and gentlemen," I addressed the gathering crowd, enjoying Caroline's growing horror. "Welcome to the new Alexandria. I'm Emma Sterling, or as some of you know me, Emma Carter." Caroline sank into a lobby chair as whispers spread. The sister she'd dismissed for years was now her landlord. "First order of business," I continued, "rent adjustments. Premium units like the penthouse will see the largest increases, reflecting true market value." "But that's my inheritance," Caroline burst out. Correction, I smiled. Your inheritance was a lease. My inheritance was the vision to build something bigger. While you were planning your penthouse decoration, I was planning a real estate empire. My phone lit up with another update. Contractor teams ready. Renovation permits approved. Speaking of planning, I turned back to the residence. The building will undergo extensive renovations. Top floors first. Penthouse residents may need to temporarily relocate to lower floors. Caroline's designer purse slipped from her fingers. Lower floors, like some common tenant. I finished. Yes, exactly like that. Welcome to market reality, sister dear. The screens displayed the renovation timeline. Caroline's beloved penthouse would be unusable for 6 months. But where will I live? She demanded. We have a lovely unit available on the 3rd floor, I replied. Near the garbage chute. Perfect for someone on an adjusted budget. Her face turned an interesting shade of red. Dad will never allow. Dad's not the owner anymore, I cut in. In fact, I checked my phone. He just got the notice that his private parking spot is being converted to a community garden. The residents tittered. They'd all seen Caroline's entitled behavior over the years. Now, I continued, let's discuss the new amenity fees. Penthouse residents will pay premium rates, naturally. Can't have the lower floors subsidizing luxury living anymore. Caroline fumbled with her phone, probably checking her bank balance. She'd never had to budget before. Oh, and one more thing, I added. All residents must now actually live in their units. No more using the penthouse for your weekly social media photo shoots while actually living in your boyfriend's downtown loft. The crowd gasped. Caroline's Instagram-perfect facade cracked completely. You've been spying on me? No, just reviewing security footage. Standard procedure for new ownership. I smiled. The cameras caught so many interesting things. Like you sneaking in guests against building policy, hosting unauthorized parties. Those were charity events. Taking selfies is not charity, Caroline. But don't worry, you can still host events. There's a lovely community room on the 2nd floor. Next to the laundromat. As the meeting continued, I outlined changes that would transform the building from a symbol of old money privilege to a modern, equitable living space. Caroline slumped lower in her chair with each announcement. Sometimes the best investment isn't in square footage. It's in watching reality finally catch up to those who never thought they'd have to face it. The next morning, I sat in my top-floor office, watching multiple screens display security feeds from around the building. Caroline had spent the night calling everyone she knew, trying to fight the inevitable. My phone buzzed with updates. Penthouse renovation crew arriving. New security protocols active. Caroline Carter. 3 failed entry attempts at private elevator. Right on cue, the lobby desk called. Miss Sterling, your sister is demanding access to the private elevator. Says it's her birthright. Direct her to the public elevators, I replied. Like every other resident. Through the cameras, I watched Caroline's perfect blowout deflate as she stood among her neighbors, waiting for the regular elevator. Her Louboutins tapped an angry rhythm on the marble floor. My executive assistant, Marcus, entered with the morning briefing. The other residents are loving the new changes. Especially the rent reductions for long-term tenants in the lower floors. Amazing how popularity shifts when you prioritize actual community over status, I mused, signing the final renovation approvals. The elevator camera showed Caroline trying to press the penthouse button, now deactivated for her access level. Her frustrated reflection in the mirrored walls was better than any revenge I could have planned. Miss Sterling, Marcus cleared his throat, your parents are here. Perfect. Right on schedule. Send them up, I smiled. Let's see how they handle their youngest daughter's office job now. Mom burst in first, her tennis club outfit clashing with her distressed expression. Dad followed, his usual commanding presence diminished by confusion. Emma, Mom started, what is the meaning of this? Caroline says you're trying to evict her. Not evicting, I corrected, gesturing to my wall of screens. Just implementing standard building improvements. See. The displays showed architectural plans for the renovation. The penthouse suite being converted into 3 luxury units. But that's Caroline's home. Mom protested. Actually, I pulled up the ownership documents. It's my building. Every brick, every floor, every overpriced parking space. Dad stepped forward, banker's instincts kicking in. Sterling Investments. That's the firm that's been dominating the real estate market. The one I tried to partner with last year. The one that rejected your proposal? I smiled. Yes, that was an interesting meeting. You spent an hour explaining basic property management to your own daughter. His face paled. You're Emma Sterling? The very same. I turned my screens to show my company's portfolio. While you were grooming Caroline to inherit one apartment, I was building an empire. But, your office job, Mom stammered, was running a billion-dollar investment firm. I pulled up more documents. Every time you mocked my tiny cubicle, I was acquiring another building. When Caroline bragged about her future penthouse, I was negotiating the purchase of this entire property. Through the security feed, we watched Caroline trying to argue with maintenance about her right to the private parking space. You let us believe. Dad's voice trailed off. I let you believe what you wanted to believe, I finished. It was easier than fighting your assumptions. Besides, I gestured to the empire around us. The results speak for themselves. My phone buzzed. Renovation team requesting penthouse access. Caroline Carter refusing to leave premises. Excuse me. I stood, straightening my designer suit, worth more than Caroline's entire wardrobe. I have a building to run. Marcus will show you out. When Dad? Those country club membership dues you've been struggling with? Consider them handled. I bought the club last week. As my parents left, shell-shocked and silent, I watched Caroline on the security feed, still arguing about her rights to the building's amenities. 1 month into the renovations, I stood in what used to be Caroline's penthouse, now gutted and being transformed into something more meaningful. The floor-to-ceiling windows still offered that spectacular city view, but soon, they'd serve 3 families instead of one socialite's Instagram backdrop. My phone buzzed with updates from Marcus. Caroline Carter moved to 3rd floor unit. Social media followers dropping after address change. Parents requesting family dinner meeting. The last one made me smile. Amazing how quickly dinner invitations came once they realized their struggling daughter was actually a real estate mogul. Miss Sterling, Marcus appeared at my side, tablet in hand. The Times wants to do a profile. Youngest real estate magnate transforms city's housing landscape. Before I could respond, the construction supervisor approached with fresh plans. The community garden is ready for approval. We've allocated the space from those premium parking spots. The ones Caroline used for her sports car collection? I checked the designs. Perfect. Let's add a children's learning center too. My phone lit up with another message, this time from Caroline herself. Can we talk? Please. After a month of tantrums, threats, and failed legal challenges, this was new. Send her up, I told Marcus. Let's see what humility looks like on her. Caroline arrived minutes later, looking strange in casual clothes instead of her usual designer wear. The construction noise made her wince. They're destroying everything, she said quietly. No, I corrected, they're building something better. Like I've been doing for years while you were planning your next charity gala. She walked to the windows, the same ones she'd bragged about in countless social media posts. Why didn't you tell us about any of this? Would you have listened? I turned to face her. Between your penthouse plans and Dad's lectures about proper careers, when exactly should I have mentioned building a real estate empire? You thought I was failing, I finished. It was easier to let you think that while I worked. Every time you mocked my tiny office job, I acquired another property. While you planned penthouse parties, I planned community revivals. My phone buzzed again. Photos of the new community garden taking shape below. Did you know, I continued, that the 3rd floor has better sunset views than the penthouse? You'd never noticed because you were too busy looking down on everyone. Caroline stared at the construction plans spread across what used to be her marble countertops. Is this what you're doing to all your buildings? Converting spaces of privilege into places of purpose? I nodded. Every property in my portfolio is being transformed. More units, better communities, actual sustainability instead of superficial luxury. And me? She asked softly. What's my place in your new empire? I studied my sister, really looked at her for the first time in years. Without the designer armor and entitled attitude, she seemed smaller, more real. That depends, I replied. The community center needs a coordinator. Someone who knows event planning, who understands social dynamics. But, I emphasized, it's actual work. No photo ops, no social media campaigns. Just genuine community building. You trust me with that? After everything. Trust is earned. I handed her the project proposal. Like everything else in my buildings now. Including residency. My phone lit up with another headline. Sterling Investments revolutionizes urban living. Luxury properties transformed into community spaces. The third-floor unit, I added, stays at market rate. No family discounts. Your choice if you want to stay. Caroline clutched the proposal, looking around at the space that was once her inheritance and would soon be something more valuable. Sometimes, I said quietly, losing a penthouse makes room for gaining perspective. She nodded, understanding finally reaching her eyes. When can I start? Right now, I gestured to the construction. The community garden needs planning. Show me what you can do when you're building something real instead of just a social media presence. As Caroline left to begin her new role, her first real job, I watched the sunset through those famous windows. Sometimes the best success isn't in owning the view from the top, but in changing what that view represents. And sometimes the greatest luxury is watching others learn the value of what's below.